out in the desert, with the Mariners now just 1 week from opening day. Players can see the finish line, but there's a few questions to answer before they leave Peoria.
Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Cards.
We learned this morning who joins the rotation, but what about the bullpen? The quest for answers resumes as the Mariners meet KC. It's Cactus League Baseball with an eye towards Texas, next on Root Sports.
Boy, did he smoke that one.
Mariners Spring Training on Root Sports is presented by Delta Airlines. Keep climbing.
Robinson Cano clubbed his 3 home runs yesterday on Easter Sunday. We know he'll head to Texas next week, but who else will join him on the 25-man roster? We got a few answers this morning in Arizona as the Mariners prepare to face the Royals at the Peoria Sports Complex. We did get some answers. Hey, everybody. I'm Brad Adam alongside our senior baseball analyst, Mr. Bill Kruger, standing up for this one because this is some big news. 1 week now, Bill, until the Mariners start the 2016 campaign in Texas, and the team announced some major decisions this morning. All right, in our CenturyLink, what's next? A check of the roster moves made today. James Paxton, Chris Taylor, and Stephen Romero all optioned to AAA Tacoma. Now, the moves mean unless something changes this week, Luis Sardinas earned the utility role. Dae-Ho Lee is the backup at first base. It also means Nathan Carnes, who starts today, will be the 5th starter once the season starts next week. All right, more on Carnes in a moment. But, Bill, what is today's news? What does this mean, the move, mean for James Paxton?
Well, he has options, so he's on his way to AAA Tacoma, and he's a big league pitcher, folks. He got beat out in spring training, but this guy, 12-8 over 30 starts with a 3.1 ERA. He's shown that he can pitch here and be elite at times. Now, he's only made 13 turns each of the last 2 seasons, so he's got to go to Tacoma, prove that he can be healthy, he can post every 5th day, and he's got to take this time to try to figure out how he can be a better pitcher so when he turns to the big leagues, he can do more.
And we do think that he will return at some point this year. You'd like to, no one like to think, but something always happens, right, Bill? Yes. Now for a check on the guy who did earn the 5th spot. That's Nathan Carnes in our Lexus pitching matchup. He gets to start today against the defending champs from Kansas City. Now, his numbers, Bill, really didn't stand out this spring. You see him there, 12 earned through 16. But what do you like about this guy and his stuff?
Well, he's got plus stuff. Over above average fastball in the low 90s. He can ride the ball up in the strike zone. He's got a very good curveball that he can wipe people out. Almost a strikeout inning last year in Tampa, where he went 7-5 with a 3.6. So here's a guy that's got talent that was discovered by Dipoto. He made the move for him, and I think he's going to pick that spot up in that rotation and do very well with it.
And probably like pitching at Safeco Field as opposed to whatever that is.
Whatever that
St.
is, yeah.
Petersburg. Yes. Up next, a look at the lineup Nathan Carnes will be facing today. Plus that guy, Kyle Seager. He's won a Gold Glove and made the All-Star team early in his career. But what must he do this year for the Mariners to succeed and get back to the playoffs?
The indomitable nature of the human that's what's happening here. Because there's something.
Home dugout getting ready to take on Kansas City. Now, KC will also be at Safeco Field for a series at the end of April, an early chance for Seattle fans to check out the World Champs. All right, now look at the Royals lineup today. Big names at the top with Alcides Escobar leading off, followed by Alex Gordon. They re-signed him, having a nice spring. How about former Mariner Kenys Morales, over 100 RBIs in his first year there in KC. At the bottom, Drew Butera will do the catching, with Clint Barnes hitting ninth. As the visitors, how about the Mariners? After clubbing 3 home runs, driving in 7 RBIs yesterday, that's a good week. Good game for Robinson Cano, and he's back in the lineup today. He's now got 6 home runs this spring. Nelson Cruz anchors that cleanup spot, followed by Adam Lind. Aoki once again leading off for the Mariners. Welcome back to the Ford Sports Desk. Kyle Seager currently mans the 2 spot today. It'll be interesting to see where Scott Service ultimately puts him this season. Now, over the weekend, the Mariners third baseman chatted with our former third baseman, Mike Blowers, who asked him about his preparation and expectations for 2016.
I like our team. I think we'll be able to compete with anybody. You know, you look at, what our starting pitching has potential to be. That's a pretty special group. So, I think with that group, combined with, a more athletic club, should play better defense, should be able to run the bases better. I think it's going to be a much better team. I'd like, my average to continue to go up. That's something that, I feel like I should be hitting a little better than I have in that category. So, I'd certainly like for, that to be better.
So the power numbers, Bill, we've seen growth from Seager every year, not just at the plate, but also in the field. But for them to make a push, get them back to the playoffs, what do they need Kyle to improve on or step up? We heard him talk a little bit about it. What would you say about Kyle?
Well, first of all, you want him to be healthy. This guy plays every day. You got to put a straitjacket on him, so I don't worry too much about that. He's going to play great defense. I think his RBIs will go up from 74, and he's going to try to push 100 by just moving down the order. He won't hit 2, I don't imagine, very often. And I think the big thing he'd like to do is hit for a higher average. I don't think he has to carry the weight of all the left-handed power in this team. You've added Adam Lind. You've got a healthy Robinson Cano. He can hit gap to gap. Try to hit 40 doubles. I think if he does that, the average will go up in the 280s, and we'll see the best of Kyle Seager.
The best yet to come. We can all agree with that with Kyle Seager. As good as he's been, certainly inconsistent the last couple of years. Well, time now to send it down to Peoria. We've got the Mariners on the field getting ready to take on the Royals. We're outside of Peoria Sports Complex, looking busy, looking good. Let's go inside. Dave Sims, Mike Blowers. Gentlemen.
All right, Brett, thank you, and good afternoon, everybody. A warm, sunny morning has turned into a windy, breezy, cloudy afternoon, and that could be a nightmare for outfielders and a joyous day for hitters. Good to have you here at the Peoria Sports Complex. That wind blowing straight out. So be careful, you hurlers, today as the Mariners take on a split squad of Kansas City Royals, of course, the defending world champions. A little bit later, we're going to be joined by Ryan Rowland-Smith, the former Mariner. Talk to him about what's going on in his life and his baseball career. But, Mike, as an outfielder today, you're going, uh-oh.
You catch a break because you don't have to deal with the sun, with the clouds out there. But with the wind, yeah, they're going to be playing deep. All the outfielders will probably be in front of the warning track today, and the pitchers better keep the ball down As it can get down here from time to time, the ball will fly.
Nathan Karns on the mound today. He has won the 5th spot in the rotation. As Bill Kruger and Brad Adam were talking about, this will be his 6th spring start, a 1-1 record, a 6.75 ERA. Mike, what would you like to see him improve upon?
Well, I think it'll be interesting to watch him today. Now that he's aware of the fact that he's made the team, there's been a lot of pressure on him throughout spring training. He and Paxton going back and forth. But as you mentioned, he's going to be the guy. See if he can relax a little bit. What we've seen from him is he has a good fastball, but his fastball typically has been up, especially early in the games. We've seen a good breaking ball and changeup. So I'd like to see him pitch down to the bottom of the strike zone with his fastball this afternoon.
Here's Alcides Escobar. First pitch swinging, not a surprise. Drives it deep to right center field. Going back, Martin can't get it. It's off the wall. Escobar to second, cruising to third, and he's going to get there easily. A leadoff triple on the first pitch of the ball game. That's the second triple of the spring for Escobar.
And I think for Karns, he just wanted to work ahead, start off by throwing a strike, throws a fastball. It's going to end up in the middle of the plate. And you can see Escobar ready to swing it. I think the hitters will be aggressive today, Dave. You mentioned the wind. They're aware of that, too, so they're going to let it go.
Escobar did a lot of damage in the playoffs last year for these world champion Royals, who beat Houston in the AL Division Series, Toronto in the Championship Series, and beat the Mets in the World Series. There's Alex Gordon, 310 hitter on the spring. Big swing and a miss. Did you ever have any fears that he would not re-sign with Kansas City? Remember during the whole free agent
I thought it would
term?
get done.
Yeah. It went longer than I thought, though.
It did. It did. I would agree with that. And the longer it goes, the more you start to get concerned about it. But I always felt that he would be there.
Strike 2 called on Gordon. Home plate umpire today, Quinn Walcott, working with Adrian Johnson and Tim Woodring. Just 3 umpires today. Yep, the wind picking up, too, blowing straight out. Here's the 0-2 from Karns. Yeah. Strike 3 called. Gordon didn't like it. He's gone, 1 down.
Pretty good fastball after the changeup. 92 miles an hour running off the outside corner.
Pleasant day to be on the berm. A nice breeze coming right at you.
It's going to cool off the next couple of days. High is supposed to be 70 tomorrow. I think the same on Wednesday.
It's 83 degrees right now, but going down. Here's Kendrys Morales. It's into the shift. Cano is there. Drives in a run. Kansas City leads 1-0. RBI for Morales, his 5th. So 2 outs here in the first inning. Bring up Cody Decker, one of their young players, as we mentioned. Split squad today. The rest of the Royals back down Bell Boulevard at Surprise, taking on San Diego. Cody Decker, 286 on the spring. Here's the first pitch swinging. Seager, easy play for him. Goes across, and that'll do it for the Royals. World champions strike on a triple and a ground out lead, 1-0. The Mariners coming to bat on this windy day as the Mariners spring training is presented by Delta Airlines. Seattle Mariners baseball here on Root Sports, being brought to you by Delta Airlines. Keep climbing. And by Frontier Communications, providers of next generation Fios TV and internet. Last week of spring training. It all counts a week from today in Texas. Good to have you with us here in Peoria. The clouds have taken over, the wind blowing straight out. Nori Aoki is going to lead things off for the Mariners. Nori hitting at .250 this spring. No homers and 2 runs batted in. Facing Chris Medlin. Medlin pitching last year for the first time since 2013, coming off his second Tommy John surgery. 0-1 to Nori.
A lot of the regulars in the lineup today. Robertson, the only exception. Seth Smith, Gutierrez, both getting the day off.
Seth Smith has had a fabulous spring, no question about it. This one fouled off. Former Mariner manager hiding behind the umpires, Don Wakamatsu. We'll see him once Quinn Walcott moves. He's got service with his bench coach Tim Bogar on your right. Infield and outfield straight away for Aoki. This one fouled off. There's Wack. Picked up a world championship ring, or will pick it up. What a run the Kansas City Ball Club's had the last 2 years. Madison Bumgarner beat him in 2014. And then the Royals take out the Mets in 5 last fall. 2-2. Down low from Medlin, who figures to be the number 5 man in the Kansas City rotation after Volquez, Kennedy, Ventura, and Chris Young. Kyle Seager's on deck. 3-2 pitch. Choppers could be interesting. And it's thrown away by Morales. Aoki's aboard.
I would give him an infield hit. Once it gets past the pitcher, Morales decides to go get it. Maybe should have let the second baseman field it. You can see the second baseman right there. Would have been an easier play.
A base hit for Aoki. Brings up Kyle Seager.
Kyle having a good spring, hitting .319 for the spring. Still not sure where he's going to hit in the lineup. Hitting second today. We've seen him hit 5th, 3rd a couple of times. That'll be Cano's job when he's in the lineup.
And your professional guess would be what?
I think he'll probably hit 5th most of the time. I think they'd like to have Marte in that second spot, with Martin hitting 9th.
Marte batting 7th today. Martin batting 9th. Tell you what, bottom 3 can fly here in today's batting order. Marte, Robertson, and Martin. Down low to Kyle. Medlin out of Artesia, California, 30 years old. He's got 6 years in the big leagues. Started out with the Atlanta organization back in '06, made the big club in '09. Runner goes, pitch. Here's a throw down to second, and he's out. 2-6. Caught stealing. First stolen base attempt by Aoki, thrown out by Drew Butera.
Strong throw down to second base. Was able to get rid of it quickly.
Drew, a second-generation big leaguer. His dad, Sal, was a catcher sometime in the 70s and 80s. Here's the 2-1. Speaking of multiple generation baseball players, Aaron Boone's in town today. Good to see him. His grandfather Ray, his father Bob, and his brother Brett Boone, all major leaguers. How about the day Cano had yesterday? He left the ballpark 3 times, and talking to Scott Service today, he said there was some fan behind where Tim Bogar and Service were sitting yesterday over at Sloan Park. Said he got 2 home runs. I bet you can't hit a third. Service said, I don't think Robbie heard him. He said, Tim and I did. When he went center field with that one right there, they all turned at him and sort of didn't say anything, but gave him a look like, what are you going to say now, pal?
Have a day. He has looked really good all spring. And we were talking about him now that he's healthy and swinging the bat well. He's been able to pull the ball with some authority, and a number of his home runs early were out to right field, and they were line drives.
Exactly. Center field, and that's the first time he's gone center field and left field. See a lot of Cano jerseys, shirts here and in Seattle. Certainly look forward to being back home for the home opener on the 8th of April. And being against the Athletics. 2-1. Good numbers for Robbie this spring, hitting .370, 6 homers, 15 runs batted in. And next Monday in Texas against the Rangers, the King, Felix Hernandez, throwing a light bullpen session today with Mel Stottlemyre Jr. Jumps on a pitch, tomahawks it into right center field. Seager to second, will get to third easily, and the Mariners brewing something here in the first. Robbie Cano's hot hitting continues.
And again, pulling the ball with authority. A fastball up out over the plate at 90 miles an hour, and you can see above the belt, able to tomahawk it into right center field. And last year, he did a good job of handling the pitches that were out over the plate. The one thing I wanted to see this spring was the fastball inside, and that has not been a problem for him. He's been able to turn on it. Last year with the injuries, he was having a tough time with that.
And boy, did everybody see it, and they pounded him. Here's Nelson Cruz, 3 home runs, 7 runs batted in, a .150 batting average. Breaking ball for a strike.
He's starting to heat up, though. 3 home runs in his last 6 games.
0-1 pitch. Chased after it, 0-2. Medlin 6-2 with Kansas City last year, an ERA of 4.01 in just 15 games, 8 starts. He's ahead of Cruz here, 0-2. And he got him to chase. Gets him on 3 pitches. It's 2 down.
And he'll get him to chase this pitch off the plate away. Might have been a changeup. He was out in front of it.
2 outs, runners at the corners. And Adam Lind back after a bout with the flu, having good numbers. .290, 2 homers, 6 runs batted in, a slugging percentage of .613. Let's see him get one up in the air. So Adam will be the starter against right-hand pitching. How about Dae-Ho Lee making the team? Were you surprised?
I thought there was going to be a pretty good battle, and there was with him and Romero. I thought Romero had a good chance because of his ability to play the outfield too. But they decided to go with Lee. So Stephen Romero, he did everything he could possibly do this spring to make the ball club.
Talking to Scott Service and Manny Acta, they both agree that Dae-Ho Lee does a great job adjusting in the middle of an at-bat. And they need, and Scott Service said against left-hand pitching, you better kill it. So we'll see what happens. Mariners turned away, 1-0 Royals. Mariners spring training presented by Delta Airlines. Presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners that may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners. There's a look at the parking lot, a little time-lapse photography filling up for today's tilt against the Kansas City Royals. Of their regulars, Escobar, Gordon, Morales in the lineup, while Drew Butera. The rest of the squad is back in Surprise on this cloudy and windy afternoon. Just joining us, wind blowing straight out like it's Chicago at Wrigley Field. There's Raymond Fuentes, right fielder today. Chopper off the plate. Here comes Cano. Couldn't get it on the backhand. Backed up by Marte. And Fuentes is aboard. So another base runner for Kansas City. Going to be a base hit for Fuentes.
I think Robbie thought he was going to get a shorter hop. You could see him rushing in, trying to get to it quickly so he could just smother it. And ended up being an in-between hop. Fuentes runs well, so he didn't want to sit back on it.
There's Paolo Orlando, one of their backup outfielders. Had some postseason play last fall.
Kansas City has a lot of speed, and Orlando was one of the faster guys on their club.
Nathan Cards trying to get sharp here as we get going here in the final week of spring training. Orlando scored 3 runs in the postseason. Lays down abundance of beauty. Carnes doesn't get. Oh, got him. That was a bang banger. I thought he might have beaten that one out. Take it. Sacrifice. Works.
It looked as if he beat it out. We'll take a look at it. It's a good play by Carnes. Gets off the mound, barehanding the ball, and gets rid of it quickly. Ends up getting the call.
Sack 1-3. On to second, Fuentes. I'll bring up Christian Colon, second baseman. Colon had 43 games last year, 290 hitter. Well, trademark of this Kansas City ball club last year might keep the line moving, whatever you got to do. They did a great job offensively.
No, you're right, and they could put a lot of pressure on you. Certainly make pitchers work.
No Hosmer, no Moustakas here today. 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes. Colon, second baseman, batting in the 7-hole today. Here's the wind we were talking about, straight out.
Watching Orlando put that bunt down, I'm sure he did it on his own. He gets credit for a sacrifice. But I've always been surprised that players that can really run.
Drop it down for a base hit.
Yeah.
He's a fast guy.
Well, and the thing, I think he was trying to drop it down for a base hit, but those guys, you either get a hit, which helps you, or you're going to get credit for the sacrifice, so it doesn't hurt you. And you move a runner up into scoring position. Guys that can really run, I'm surprised we don't see them try to do that more often.
And I got a feeling we'll be saying that all year.
This club may be different with Martin and Marte. I think we'll see those guys try to bunt for base hits quite a bit over the course of the summer.
This one's skied. Center fielder Martin taking control. And when I say see it all year, I think you're right specifically about the Mariner Ball Club, but I think overall the way the industry, we talk about it all the time, the way the industry's going, that part of the game has really gone away, sadly, for me.
No, you're right. Well, you spend years where all you're trying to do is hit the 3-run home run, and everybody thinks that they can do it. And now We've talked about the pitching and how dominant it's been, especially the last couple of years. The game has changed, and I think there are a lot of guys that can help themselves by working on that part of the game.
2 down. Drew Butera, the catcher. 179, 2 homers, 4 runs batted in. Just in the second inning, seeing better control fastball-wise from Carnes.
Yeah, I think so. It looks as if he's working on his changeup a little bit more today. He hasn't thrown his breaking ball as much as we've seen him.
Fuentes at second. Good looking pitch.
A good fastball right at the knees. That's what we wanted to see from him.
Bill Stoudemire Jr., the pitching coach. He was catching Felix. He was tossing in a side session this morning. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball missed. Ball 1. So Wade Miley with the beard to your right. Iwakuma on the left. Felix in the middle. There's Taijuan Walker. There's the first 4 in the rotation, with Carnes being number 5. See Taijuan Walker tomorrow at Cleveland. Iannetta can't find it. Takes his time and throws down to first, and that'll do it. Strikeout 2-3. Carnes strands a runner. We go to the home second. 1-0 Kansas City. Mariners spring training presented by Delta Airlines.
Bottom of the second, we move inside our studios here. Welcome to the Ford Sports Desk. Brad Adam with you. Hey, join us for Sounders FC All Access only on Root Sports. We take you behind the scenes, giving you unprecedented access to the players and coaches that are shaping the future of soccer in the Emerald City. Visit rootsports.com for more local showtimes. Like I said, bottom of the second, Dave and Mike.
All right, Brad, thank you. Chris Iannetta leading off. Tel Marte, Daniel Robertson, 6, 7, and 8 coming up. Iannetta swinging a good bat. Last 7 games, a 364 clip.
This is the time of spring training that you want to feel good at the plate, and the Mariners have a number of guys.
Look out. Whew.
Looks like everybody's okay. Mariners have a number of guys that are swinging the bat well right now, so it's a good sign for them. Trying to get off to a quick start.
Chris will be doing the majority of the catching this year. And he did go on that one, and Iannetta's a strikeout victim. 1 down. Second strikeout for Medlin. MLB TV Premium. Everything you've come to expect and more. New low price for 2016. You can watch every out-of-market game of all 30 teams live in true HD and over 400 supported devices. Visit Mariners.com for details. Future All-Star, I like it. Breaking ball to Ketel Marte, riding a 6-game hitting streak. Ketel up to 295 now with a homer. That was an inside the Parker last time we were on the air with him. He's also driven in 5, and he's stolen 3 bases.
One of the things that I wanted to see from him at the start of spring training was the way that he was fielding shortstop, and he hasn't had any issues all spring. He's done a nice job at short.
Make those routine plays, right?
That's the most important.
Premium defensive position, you got to have it. Four-pitch walk. Medlin's second free pass here in the early going. So Medlin had 6 games in the minors last year. Played with the big club, went 6-2 in 15 games. He's got Daniel Robertson now. Another guy you're talking about, a number of Mariners swinging the bat well. Robertson's had a good one. 389 his batting average. He's got 4 doubles and 3 triples, 10 runs batted in.
He's been right around 400 for the entire spring.
Long hold by Medlin. Time called. Hunter doesn't go. Chopper off the plate. Nice turn of a double play by Escobar, Colon, and Morales. That'll do it for the Mariners in the second. A nifty turn there by Escobar. Flip right out of the glove to Colon. Let it rip and was able to get out of the way. Mariners spring training presented by Delta Airlines. Remain to join in the fun and excitement of Mariners opening night on April 8th. Bring in the 2016 season by welcoming home Felix, Robbie, and your favorite Mariners. All fans are going to receive a free magnetic schedule courtesy of Safeco Insurance. Visit Mariners.com for more info. Taijuan Walker slated to start the home opener for the Mariners. Veteran Clint Barmas first pitch, swinging, base hit up the middle. So Barmas gets Kansas City off to a good start in the third, batting in a 9-hole, playing third base today. Barmas has been with Kansas City and Pittsburgh. Back to the top of the order now. Alcides Escobar open up the game. First pitch, swinging, tripling off the fence in right center field, bouncing off right around the 410 mark. That's a third Kansas City hit. Triple by Escobar, infield hit by Fuentes, and now Barmas.
Well, we were talking about him being an aggressive hitter, and you can see Iannetta, the veteran catcher, calling for the changeup this time. He missed with it down low.
Solid player Escobar, played in 148 games last year. Breaking ball for strike 101. Carnes 7-5 a year ago with Tampa Bay, coming over in the trade that sent Danny Farquhar, Brad Miller, and Logan Morrison to the Rays. Trade back in November. Chopper to Seager. He's got one play. Throws a sinker, and Lynn can't come up with it. Escobar to second. Barmas to third. They're going to wave him around. Robertson will get it back in, and Kansas City's got another run on the board. It's 2-0.
A rare throwing error by Kyle. Tried to get rid of it quickly, but as Dave mentioned, it was sinking away from Lynn. Typically for Kyle, when he makes his throws, he'll hit you in the chest every time, but that one, a sinker, and he's not happy about it.
So an E5. Escobar at second, nobody out. Brings up Alex Gordon. Saw 3 pitches, was called out on strikes. First at bat. Strike one, barks out Quinn Wolcott.
Another well-located fastball.
Gordon coming up through the Kansas City organization. And this is going to be enough for a base hit. Escobar's going to score easily as that thing spins away from Seager. Gordon will hold with an excuse me RBI single. 3-0 Kansas City. RBI for Gordo is 7th.
Tough break for Carnes. It looked like a changeup running away from him. It was right off the end of the bat. Throwing a lot of strikes. 23 pitches, 18 strikes.
Nobody out, run in. Gordon at first, and here's Morales. RBI ground out first time up. First pitch swinging, popped it up. Iannetta might have a play. He's hanging with it. That's well done. Because Seager, with the shift, was over at the shortstop position. And Iannetta not only picked it up, but made the catch battling the wind.
And the thing that he did is he didn't run too hard right away. You can see him just drifting. He knows the wind is going to bring it back towards the field of play.
Did it with the mask in his hand, too, huh? Usually you see this guy's
pretty casual. He had it all the way.
Yes, he did. Cody Decker. One out, runner at first. Decker grounded out the third. Infield playing straight up, looking for a double play. Definitely sense better control today from the last time we saw.
Well, it was one of the things that we were talking about at the start of the game. He has been up with his fastball, especially in the first few innings of the games that he's started in. And now that you're getting so close, you'd like to see him come out, command the bottom of the strike zone. And we've seen that. The few fastballs that he's thrown up have been on purpose, trying to get him to swing and chase it. But he's also been on the edges with his fastball. So I agree, Dave. And I think he's had a good changeup today.
3 runs, 4 hits, no errors for Kansas City. No runs, 2 hits, an error for the Mariners. The 0-1.
And he's had a good breaking ball this spring, so I think today he's throwing more changeups. Typically, you'll see the breaking ball from him a little bit more, but I think he's working on his changeup.
Gets that one by him, 1-2. Take a look at the flags from the left field side of the batter's eye. Straight out here. The wind at 17 miles an hour. Last Wednesday in the telecast, wind was blowing hard to right. Cody Decker, the DH. Carnes trying to put him away here. Runner goes, breaking ball, swung on him. Oh man, Carnes just got out of the way. Wow. Stolen base for Gordon. That'll be his second. Drew Hutchison from the Toronto Blue Jays. Similar play, although he wound up taking it in the far end. Carnes just got out of the way. For whatever reason, on a play like that, Hutchinson had his back turned, paid a price.
Seeing the replay, it looked as if Chris Iannetta maybe stumbled over the hitter's foot.
It's Fuentes. And Raymond got an infield hit. First time up, looks at a strike. Pitch really fooled Fuentes. In the case of Hutchinson, he was trying to get out of the way, ducked down, turned his back, and the catcher still got him. That's pretty scary. Alex Gordon, he's at second with 2 outs. And Gordon digging for third, and he is safe.
And that will be a wild pitch. Take a look at the throw. Kyle trying to get the tag on him. Looked like he did a pretty good job staying on the base.
Boy, I'll say.
See the look in Kyle's face. He thought maybe he came off just a little bit, but didn't change the call.
So 1-2 to Fuentes. Carnes ready. Ooh, thought he had him. 2-2. The voice you hear is Felix Hernandez. Carnes ready. 2-2 pitch. It's blocked by Chris Iannetta. Full count. Paulo Orlando's on deck. So a good base runner. Gordon has worked his way to third. Trying to strand him there. The pitch. Chopper fair ball takes him lead right to the bag, and that'll do it for Kansas City. 2 runs on 2 hits, an error, and a man left. We go to the home third. 3-0 KC. Mariners spring training presented by Delta Airlines. Season fast approaching, so make sure you're on hand for all the action of opening weekend at Safeco Field. Check out the 2016 Mariners squad for the first time starting April 8th, 9th, and 10th. The Mariners host the A's. Tickets for opening weekend, they're available right now at mariners.com. An area called the White Pocket, as a little slugger getting his rest in with his root baseball. Mariner gear. Parents will tell him about the game. Give him a full recap after his nap. Lenny Martin leading off. It'll be 9-1-2 for the Mariners. Martin followed by Aoki and Seager. One the count.
It was fun getting a chance to talk to him the other day.
Lenny Martin, very spirited guy.
Yeah.
Again, thrilled to be here in Seattle. Popped up. I don't like the fact, we were talking about it earlier, comfort level he's got. A lot of guys, Nelly Cruz, haven't played with him in Texas. You got Cano, Felix, there's a lot of Hispanic players on this ball club, and his English is markedly improved from a couple of 4 or 5 years ago. And he's going to fit in quite nicely. Good player.
I really liked his answer when I asked him about bunting. We've talked about it throughout spring. You go back a couple of years ago, he was amongst the league leaders in infield hits and bunt base hits, and I asked him why we're not seeing it down here in spring training. He started laughing. He said he didn't want to show the scouts.
I don't blame him. That's a good call. He strikes out to open up the third here. That's Medlin's third strikeout. Medlin's walked 2. Well, you got to tip your cap to guys like Chris Medlin coming back from his second Tommy John surgery.
It's a lot of work. I would imagine a lot of disappointment along the way, too.
You know, it's the old thing we've all been through. You get knocked down, get up and do it. Let's go. Reload. Aoki fouls one off. Nori reached on an infield hit, was caught stealing in the first inning. A run in the first, 2 in the third for Kansas City. Slaps it the other way, base hit. Third Mariner base hit. Aoki's got 2 of them. The other one belongs to Robinson Cano. Bring up Kyle Seager, who walked in a 3-1 pitch his first time up. Seager, Cano, and Cruz, Lind, the big boys coming up for the Mariners. Infield at double play depth, center fielder Orlando shading towards right against Seager. Kyle looks at ball one. There's Orlando up top, center fielder. Line drive right at the right fielder. Fuentes, 2 down.
Okay, getting a big lead at first. He's thrown out trying to steal in the first inning.
Another good crowd here on this windy day. And there's the berm out in left field, a little bit more. A few more folks out there, but good crowd nonetheless. Saturday's game here drew 10,644. Back safely is Aoki. Great place to watch a ball game, the Peoria Sports Complex. A little bit closer.
Thought maybe he slipped a little bit when he tried to push off to get back into first base.
Norrie with his first stolen base attempt in the first inning. Ball one to Robbie Cano. Solidly stroked. Nice play, Colon. On the one hop, takes a base hit away from Cano. That'll do it for the Mariners. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left. We've played 3. Royals, the world champion split squad, leads 3-0. Mariners spring training presented by Delta Airlines.
Inside our studio and our Forward Sports desk now, today's starter Nathan Carnes, he made 26 starts last year for Tampa Bay, set a career high for innings pitched, also had 7 wins. So what did taking the ball every 5th day for the Rays teach him?
I learned a lot. That it's a long season. You can't take experiences from each game. You can't carry them over to the next game. You just kind of have to leave them in the past, move on from that point, and you know, just kind of recollect yourself and go about your next start the best you can.
And that is what Carnes is doing, taking the mound here, top of the 4th, trailing 3-0. And our baseball analyst, Bill Kruger, tell us a little bit more about Nathan Carnes. He's got the 5th spot locked up when they sent Paxton to the minors. Tell us about Carnes and what you've seen this spring.
Well, the one start I had a good look at him was his last turn against Oakland in that windblown game when he got knocked around a little bit. The ball was up in the strike zone. Today, he has similar conditions, but doing a much better job of staying behind the baseball, working down the strike zone. He used his changeup really effectively over the first 3 innings. Got a lot of early swings with his changeup. He got beat with an error, an uncharacteristic error by Seager, and then a thumb ball by Gordon to get 2 runs off him in the third. But I think what you're seeing with this guy is a really solid delivery, a plus arm, good breaking stuff. And today, a pretty good changeup that'll complement his fastball very well, because he doesn't have a ton of movement on his fastball. He's got to spot it.
And again, Carnes, the 5th starter, pretty much named today when James Paxton again sent down to AAA Tacoma. And Bill, we talked about it a little bit in the open. His numbers aren't great in spring training, but is he a guy, or spring kind of in general, where you don't really worry about his numbers?
I certainly don't, and there can be some pretty wild conditions down there. Today's one of them with the wind blowing the night game against Oakland where the wind really blew. And when you're a kind of a fly ball style pitcher, you can really get hurt by that. Plus, his out pitch is his curveball. You're not going to get the same break on your curveball down in Arizona as you will once the season starts. So I think we see a much better version of him. But I think it's the total package. The numbers last year, the nice, solid delivery, real consistent, and a power arm. I think there's just a ton to like with Nathan Carnes.
And making quick work of the Royals here at top of the 4th. We go back to Dave and Mike.
All right, fellas, thanks. Here's Drew Butera, and he swings first pitch. Coming in is Martin, and a very good inning for Nathan Carnes. One of the favorite Mariners going to be coming back and joining us here in a few minutes. The Hyphen, Ryan Roland Smith, joined us a little bit. Mariner Spring Training presented by Delta Airlines. Felix Holden Court with Wade Miley and company. 3-0 Royals. As we welcome in a Mariner pitcher from 2007 to 2010, pitched with the Diamondbacks in 2014. Ryan Roland Smith, the Hyphen, is with us out of Sydney, Australia. Ryan, good to have you with us, pal. How are you?
I'm good. It's great to be here.
You got to tell us. Let's revisit your story on how you got from Sydney in New South Wales, Australia, and how you ended up in the major leagues in the USA.
Well, Dave, I was just in the backyard throwing boomerangs around, and like any other kid. I got into baseball when I was 12 years old, some VHS tapes, and absolutely loved it. All the other kids were playing rugby, cricket, and absolutely loved the baseball, and just stuck with it, and found myself over here in good old Peoria as an 18-year-old playing rookie ball.
Wow. Was there a team, was there a player that jumped out at you first when you first started seeing those VHS tapes?
Well, pretty much the only games I really had on tape was it was the '93 World Series.
Here's the drive deep left center field. Forget about it. Up on the berm, over the berm, boom, stick, baby. Nelson Cruz with a home run. That was a big-time crunch job by Cruz. You ever face a guy that could hit him that far?
Oh, yeah, I've faced Nelson a few times too, but
That was on an 0-2 pitch.
He's been hot. 4 home runs in the last 7 games, and he gets a fastball in the middle of the plate. Talked about the wind. He hit it over everything.
That was impressive. Not that he needed the wind either, right, Mike?
No, no.
Wow. That is a big-time blast. That was on an 0-2 pitch. Here's Adam Lind. My goodness.
With the wind, he hit it out into the parking lot.
That's remarkable. Ryan, you've been in. Here's a ground ball right to the first baseman. That really you could hear. We have our microphone now, and you can hear how that picked up the whole dugout.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was in the middle of telling my life story there, and you just absolutely crushed it. You could definitely hear it off the bat.
Boy, oh boy.
Did you play the other sports or just baseball?
A little bit. I played a bit of rugby, but once I got pretty serious with baseball, that was it. Just baseball, and stuck with it.
Age-wise?
By the time I was 16, 17, those years, that's when I had to start getting pretty serious. And I never thought I'd come over here and play, but took it pretty seriously. We had some good coaching back then. I was fortunate enough to be around some good coaching back in Australia, so it helped me out a lot.
And a scout found you?
Yeah, they had. Back when I signed, there was probably just a handful of teams.
Right.
Would travel to all that way and pick guys up. We've had a few other Australians in this organization: Mariners, the Texas Rangers, the Toronto Blue Jays. But now, you see scouts. From every team's got someone down there watching, paying attention to what's coming out of there.
Iannetta, a hooking drive to Maniaca. He was paying attention. Third base coach. Who's the first batter you faced once you got up here to the bigs?
None other than good old King Griffey Jr.
No way.
Oh yeah. I got called up and sellout crowd. He was coming back with the Cincinnati Reds.
Okay, yeah, right.
Place was packed, and all they wanted to see was King Griffey hitting bombs. So yeah.
So you're the new kid on the block. I remember that now in 07, right?
Oh yeah, and I just said, don't walk him. Please don't walk him. This place is going to hate me if I walk him.
Did you retire him on that, AB?
I struck him out.
Yeah. And I think later on in that game, I know in that series, but I think later on in that game he did go deep.
Yeah, actually, the next day he went deep.
Next day, okay.
Yeah.
3-2 to Iannetta. Fights it off.
16, 17 years old. How many games did you guys typically play? I know with my kids right now, my son is 17, and I'll bet between high school and his select team that he plays on the summer, he's going to be in the neighborhood of probably 80 games.
Nowhere near that back in Australia for us.
Iannetta rides one deep to right. It's a foul ball.
Yeah, it's funny. The amount of I see it now with kids here in the US, especially, and they're starting to go that way. In Australia, more games year round. But for me, it was basically once a week, 4 or 5 months out of the year. So that was one thing, especially coming here to Peoria for spring training my first year, and you've got guys from all over the world who have played a lot more baseball than I had, and you had to pick it up real quick, otherwise, be on straight back to Australia pretty soon.
Did you feel that you were behind?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, absolutely. And even, I'd come in and I'll never forget, on those backfields down there they have, the 2 pitchers had to do the gun, and the chart. Usually in the minor leagues they do that. And the kid who was pitching, Jorge Sosa.
Ground ball to shortstop, booted. Iannetta's aboard.
Yeah, Jorge Sosa was first guy I had to use a radar gun, hitting 100, 101. I was like, all right, I got no chance. I'm pumping 85, 86. So I had to pick it up quick.
I can tell you that having grown up for the most part in Washington, when I signed, I felt the same way. I ended up going to Jamestown in the New York Penn League.
Right. And
we had a kid, we inter-squad for a couple of days, and we had a kid, Tony Wellborn, I'll never forget it. And he was throwing 95, 96, and I don't know that I'd ever seen that before.
I'd definitely never seen that.
Yeah, and I thought to myself too, this is going to be a short trip for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but like you said, you have to catch up quick, and luckily, because of the facilities and all those things, you can. It's there for you if you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, I was oblivious. For me, it was, if I work harder than everyone else, I'll be okay. And I kind of stuck to that and, found my way up to playing the big leagues.
Did you go every level?
Every level, yeah. Repeated a couple levels. It took me a good 5.5 years to get to safe go, but finally got there, and it was great.
Yeah.
Were a couple of highlight moments for you?
Definitely the debut. My first opening day. I know opening day is right around the corner, and some of these guys could be there first, and that was definitely a highlight for me.
Off the glove. First baseman hanging with it. Marte's going to beat it out first and second. So 2-minute board. Mike, I was always joke with Mike about the red carpet. You're good coming down that red carpet?
Yeah, it can get a bit spongy. It's funny though. The Mariners do it the best. I mean, I've been as a visiting player, I've been to different opening days, and then even in Arizona a couple of years back. But definitely the Mariners do it the best. Absolutely. They got the balloons and the red carpet coming out of right field. They do it big. It's great.
Did you ever worry about tripping?
Oh yeah.
Do you have sneakers on when they come out?
I did. I had sneakers on, and I was kind of running like I was, wearing weighted shoes or something just to make sure I wasn't going too quick. Put it that way.
That's beautiful. Here's Daniel Robertson, 2 on, a run in on a cruise bomb up high to Robertson. Ryan Nolan-Smith with us, former Mariner pitcher.
Baseball in Australia, how competitive is it now? Is it getting better? Do you see it improving?
It's getting better from a professional, like the ABL, for example. They're starting to have big prospects from the lower levels come in because it's a good environment for them to play. In the past, I'd have head off to Latin American and places, or the 4 league. But now they're starting to bring in, number one draft picks, big time prospects in different organizations. That's really helping out.
Robertson broke his bat. Want to get another one. Mariners have a couple of men aboard. With 1 out, a run in. And Robertson trying to bring him home. Daniel, first time up, bounced into a double play. What city did you like outside of Seattle? Seattle being a given, but as you traveled around the major leagues, what other cities intrigued you, ones that you had wanted to see when you were growing up in Australia?
Yeah, definitely Boston, definitely New York, especially from a player standpoint.
Safe at first. Moving over to third, Iannetta. Yeah, go There's 2 outs, runners at the corners. You go exploring in those towns?
A little bit, yeah. It's, usually you're trying to have your focus on baseball, but if you got an off day somewhere, a place like that, it's good to get out and try and explore as much as you can.
Ryan Nolan-Smith with us.
We were talking about Nathan Carnes. Just found out that he's made this club. What was that like for you the first time?
Yeah,
Fly ball, hooking, foul.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've been watching the battle between him and James Paxton, and you see James Paxton get optioned down today. But it's that time of spring training has brought back memories because I felt like every time I was here in Peoria, I was always competing for a spot.
Right.
So for him, I feel like now he can take a step back, relax a little bit, and work on things he needs to work on, and not looking over his shoulder so much, not checking the scoreboard the day he's not the field like yesterday and things like that. But that's what makes spring training great, is the battles. That's my favorite part of spring training, is the guys competing for those last couple spots, the 5th spot in the rotation, their last spot in the bullpen, and that's what makes spring training, really good.
Right.
Martin trying to pick up a couple of runs here. 3-1 Kansas City. Robertson back safely.
And I was talking about that at the start of the game about Carnes, that now maybe he can relax a little bit, and I think that he's throwing the ball his best today.
Yeah, he looks good today, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think, too, in this last week, I want to see guys start to get in that competitive mindset. You see guys working on a different pitch or trying to work on a different arm slot or whatever it might be, but I feel like this is that time where it's like, okay, today I'm going to go out and compete and try and get that mid-season mindset.
And use everything.
Use everything and go after guys, because right around the corner it all starts up.
Week from today, Mariners open with Felix on the mound at Texas, the defending Western Division champion, upstairs.
You can see too, walking around the clubhouse, everyone's itching to get this thing started. You can see it. It's that time of spring training as well.
I was talking to somebody, said, "You ready for the regular season?" I said, "Yeah, how about last week?"
Yeah.
I started packing today.
I don't doubt it. 1-2. Lays off the breaking ball in the dirt, 2-2. Scott service. Edgar Martinez on the right with Scott Bogar in the middle. Tim Bogar in the middle. 2-2 count, 2 outs, 2 on here. Bottom of the 4th. Breaking ball, hammered, right field, base hit, picks up a run. 3-2 ball game. Leonys Martin with an RBI, his 8th. Was good at bat. Swung and missed a couple of breaking balls early in the count, but he got this one.
And we'll take a look at the swing. Another breaking ball, that one hanging in the middle of the plate. And as Ryan was talking about, you get to this point in spring training, and that might have been a pitch that he misses earlier in camp. You want to cover that pitch at this point because you're not going to see a lot of them over the course of the season, so you have to take advantage of them when you get them.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially the big counts for me is, especially the 2-strike counts, for whatever reason. You see this ball chopped in the middle.
And Aoki's retired. Ryan will be back in the 6th inning. Good inning for the Mariners as they get 2 runs on 1, 2, 3 hits, and Aaron leave a couple. 3-2 ball game. Mariners spring training presented by
Nelly Cruz, the Mariners get a couple back, trail 3-2, top of 5. You see some of the starting pitching, some of the starters there for the Mariners. And here's a look at the upcoming starters for the Mariners during their last week of spring training. Taijuan Walker will pitch tomorrow against Cleveland. Felix goes Wednesday, noon, on our air against the Padres. That'll be his last turn. And then Kuma goes against minor leaguers on Thursday. Last turn before his start to the season. So back to Dave and Mike. Guys, what's the plan for Felix on Wednesday, his final start?
Well, I know that just from talking to him throughout spring training, he's going to go out and compete. He's probably going to use all of his pitches. Scott Servais said that he would cut his pitch count back, so I'm not sure how deep he'll go into the game. Maybe just 3 or 4 innings for him. And I thought after his last outing, Dave, he looks like he's ready to go.
Oh, no doubt about it. And they just go out there, break a sweat.
Yeah, I think so, and that's what Scott had talked about.
Clint Barmas leading off here in the 5th. Breaking ball and hung up there. Martin has gone back and he runs it down. He looks good out there.
He glides, doesn't he?
Exactly the word I was going to use. He looks really comfortable.
I think that when you watch that play with him, the wind fooled him a little bit. Real subtle adjustment that he made and made it look easy.
Yeah, he went over and then took the ankle back a little bit
yeah.
the last couple steps. One out here in the 5th brings up Humberto Arteaga from the minor league camp. Carnes had a 5-pitch inning in the 4th. Carnes today has struck out 3. He hasn't walked anybody. One and 2. Fouled off. There's some guys who had some good years with the Mariners. Edgar Martinez on the left and Wilson on the right. Hitting coach, catching instructor, respectively. Breaking ball. Hit right to Cano. There's 2 away.
They put in a lot of hours here in spring training, so I'm sure that they're anxious for this week to finish up too. No, for Edgar, we started off with 60 players in camp and a lot of them early hitting. He had to spend time with a number of them, so I'm sure he's happy that the number has been trimmed down.
I'll bet. Hamalani Fukufuka is the hitter, another minor leaguer. Two outs, nobody on here in the 5th. Building some confidence in that curveball.
I think he's had a good curveball for most of the spring. I like his changeup today too.
And struck him out, fouled off into the glove of Iannetta. Easy inning, 1-2-3 in the 5th. When we come back, Seager, Cano, and Cruz scheduled. Mariners down 3-2. Mariners spring training presented by Delta Airlines. Seattle Mariners baseball here on Root Sports, being brought to you by Delta Airlines. Keep climbing. And by Steel. To find your local Steel dealer, visit steeldealers.com. Northern Arizona, some of the incredible topography up there. As we rejoin you here at the Peoria Sports Complex. 2, 3, and 4 coming up for the Mariners. Here's Kyle Seager. It's Chris Medlin. Kyle was walked and lined out to right field. Mariners got a long home run by Nelson Cruz, leading off the fourth on an 0-2 pitch, and then an RBI single by Leonys Martin later on in that frame. One on one to Kyle. The wind now on just a touch more to right than it was straight out. Two and one to count. Mike, you think you could blow a driver through the wind if it was going the other way? If you had to hit into it?
It's teed up really low. Smooth swing, Dave. Don't try to do too much.
Exactly right. Wind like this, I'd like to see Jason Day and those guys get after it.
Yeah. They can handle it.
I'll say. American flag blown straight out to right. 2-2. Pounded on the ground. Long throws out Seager. One away here in the Mariners' fifth. Join Major League Baseball new era and the 30 clubs as we celebrate opening day. Make sure to wear your favorite Mariners cap on April 4th and share it on social media using hashtag #CapsOn for a chance to win prizes. And I know Mariner fans will absolutely jump on that promotion. One out in the fifth. Here's Robbie Cano. Base hit to right and a ground out to second. Coming off a 3 home run day yesterday and a win over the Cubs. Cano with the 6 home runs leads the ball club. Right fielder Fuentes is deep. I'll be doing a double take it. Quinn Wolcott didn't like that call.
No, he thought it was in off the plate.
Medlin working here in the fifth. And a 1-2 down low.
Right.
Medlin today has struck out 3, walked 2. That did indeed break in somebody's windshield called Nelly's Auto Glass. Have you seen the commercial? When Ryan Roland Smith comes back later on, we'll ask him if you've seen some of the Mariner commercials, because that's among our favorites. 2-2. High drive center field. Carrying out of here. Home run, Robbie Cano. His 7th of the spring, ties it at 3-3.
I haven't seen too many home runs go over the batter's eye in center field. It's 410 feet away, and he was able to clear it.
4 home runs in less than 24 hours.
And we'll take a look at the swing. Running fastball out over the plate. If it hit above the yellow line, it still would have been a home run, but he clears everything.
That is a prodigious blast by Cano. See if Cruz can match him. Score tied at 3. 0-2. Nelly was in the same spot leading off the fourth, 0-2, and he had a home run that almost cleared the berm. There's a broken bat looper, good enough for a base hit. Saw Ricky Weeks last year in spring training clear the batter's eye. Nelly indeed heating up after strikeout in an 0-2 pitch. Homer and a single here. It's nice to see the power guys checking in today and yesterday. 3-3 ball game.
The other thing that was good to see was Nelson behind in the count. Pretty good pitch from Medlin, probably just off the plate away from him, and still able to pick up a base hit.
Adam Lind has hit many a long ball in his career. See if he can get a hold of something here. Looks at a strike. Adam today a ground out, short and a ground out the first. One. Fuentes, the right fielder, must feel like he's almost in the parking lot. The wind blowing out. Playable. Fukama coming in the middle. Oh, he dropped it. Holy moly. In E7.
And you can tell he's not real comfortable.
Amalani Fuka. Tough moment for him. Mariners inning after a ground that's going home run, single, E7. Chris Iannetta, hot hitter, is at the plate. Strikeout and reached on an error by the shortstop. Strike one.
Medlin approaching 90 pitches. They do have a reliever getting loose out in the pen.
Well, we thought it could be an adventure for outfielders. Hot and sunny this morning. Backfield during batting practice and infield practice. The sun was just beating down hard, and now all clouds here in Peoria. Former Washington National John Lanning warming up. One and two. Breaking ball up high. Jamie Wright, former Mariner, one of the last active players that played in the Kingdom, announced his retirement today. Two pitch. Out of play. There you have it, 91 pitches for Medlin. His fifth start came in with a 1-1 record, a 6.57 ERA. Two and two to Iannetta. Full count. One out, two on, tied ball game. On deck is Ketel Marte. 1-for-1 with a walk. Cruz at second, Lind at first. Pitch. And he takes ball four. Bases are loaded. Third walk issued by Medlin. Puts Cruz to third, Lind to second.
And no surprise, Don Wakamatsu coming out, Medlin up to 93 pitches. He's coming out to get him. John Lennon will take over. Having some fun out on the berm on this windy, cloudy day in Peoria. 3-3 ball game in the 5th.
Arriving in Peoria, the complex right there at 83rd and Stadium Way. 3-3, bottom of 5. Mariners got the bases loaded. A pitching change, so time for us to let you know that, of course, we want you to join the conversation for up-to-date game information and live interaction. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Check us out and stay connected with Root Sports right here, like this guy. A little girl, Amy Hall. We're at Root Spring Training. Mariners out there on the berm wearing Crocs, got the Mariners hat. She is looking good, and right now the Mariners looking good as well. They're loaded out there. You've got Mariners fans enjoying the berm. It is windy out there. Look at the towels and blankets go. We've seen some balls go as well. Pitching change again for the Royals. We'll get you back to the game now, and Dave and Mike. It's tough for even the little guy to keep catching those balls.
Absolutely. All right, Brett, thank you very much. New pitchers, John Lennon, 6 years a starter with the Washington Nationals, with the Mets last year for 5 games. That 2 years ago in 2014. Through the hole, base hit. Mariners take the lead. Cruz scores. Everybody else up 90 feet. Ketel Marte with an RBI, his 6th, his 2nd hit today. 4-3 Mariners. Bases remain loaded.
Marte getting his first at bat, hitting right-handed. Pick up an RBI. He's had a good spring. Came into the game hitting .295 over the spring.
Here's Daniel Robertson, the 7th man to the plate. He's 0 for 2. 1 out, bases loaded, 4-3 Mariners. Got out in front of that pitch and couldn't keep it fair. Strike 1. Kansas City sending a split squad here today, back in their home ballpark at Surprise, taking on the Padres. Here's the 0-1. Chopper off the plate. They come home to get the force on Lind for out number 2. So he's out 5-2. 2 outs. Fielder's choice for Robertson. Base is still loaded. Iannetta to 3rd and Marte to 2nd. Here's Leonys Martin, will be the hitter. Strikeout and an RBI single to right. Martin last time up hit a 2-2 curveball for a base hit to right. Look at Landon, who's 6'4", 235, 31 years old, out of Mineola, New York on Long Island. Went to Siena College up near Albany and Loudonville, New York. 1-1 to Martin.
He takes an aggressive swing, doesn't he?
And we saw him do that in a Texas uniform many times.
Yeah.
Here's 1-1. Paints that outside corner. Ball and 2 strikes. Landon signed as a free agent last December with the Royals. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Good breaking ball. Good inning nonetheless for the Mariners as they get a couple runs on the board with 1, 2, 3 hits, an error, and leave them loaded. It's 4-3 Seattle. Mariners spring training presented by Delta Airlines.
On top in Peoria, Brad Adam here from the Ford Sports Desk. 1 week from today, that's right, 1 week, the Mariners start the season against the Texas Rangers. They count. Felix Hernandez will be making his 9th opening day start, looking to remain perfect. Cole Hamels takes the ball for the Rangers. Our coverage from Arlington begins at 12:30 with Mariners pregame. We will see every Mariners game right here this year on Root Sports. And there's a guy who's definitely ready. Mr. Robinson Cano, deep today. We go back to David Mike. That doesn't even do it justice, guys, to say he had a deep blast to center field.
I think it was killed. That's what it was, killed.
Yeah, it was.
Or as we say in the hood, it was kilt. Joining us right now, Wade Miley, Mariners left-hander. Wade, good to have you with us. Pride of Southeast Louisiana University. Hey, tell me about your last performance. We saw you the other day against the Dodgers. What did you think of your performance that day?
I was pretty happy with it. Obviously, the first inning, I was leaving some balls up. They were dropping some in. But after we got the ball down a little bit, kept it on the ground, it went pretty smooth.
Well, Wade, when you get your first start, how many pitches do you think you'll be able to throw? You've been building up all spring. How do you feel, and how deep do you think you'll be able to get into the game?
I think I'm good to go. Whatever. I mean, how many they'll let me go. I don't know what their pitch count will be at, but I feel like I'm ready to get to that 100 mark or whatever it takes.
In terms of adjustments that you might have made in some of your games, what are things that you're most proud of at this point as you get ready to start the season?
Just being able to command. I think my command's been, it's slowly getting better and better, and that's kind of the main thing we want to work on, and obviously getting stronger and getting the pitch count up. But being able to command really 3-4 pitches, being able to throw them for strikes, it's been good.
I got one for you here. Meeting this new group of guys, they give you attaboys for the pace at which you pitch?
I've got a few, yeah, I have. I got a few. I think they like that stuff.
I think Wade, you have to be excited about the defense that's going to be behind you this year. It looks like the guys in the outfield can cover a lot of ground. You can see the guys on the infield making all the plays this spring. They've really played well.
Absolutely. I mean, Kyle Seager's, every time I've pitched, I've told him to look out over there. They've hit a lot of ground balls his way, which is good. I'll take it, and he makes the plays. And, yeah, it's been fun. It's been good getting to know these guys. Played against them last couple of years, some of the guys. Pretty much a new team over here. Everybody came from other teams for the most part, and it's fun. It's fun getting to know everybody.
Have you had an opportunity to try to find a place in Seattle yet?
Yes, I did. I got pretty fortunate, and I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be like, but I haven't seen it sight unseen. So,
tell the folks, and I talked to you about this a few weeks ago, but tell the folks again how you got to the point where you were second only to Mark Burley throwing a pitch every 17 seconds last year.
Really, when I got to college, I don't remember working that fast in high school and stuff. I got to college, and our head coach was just all over us about pace. I mean, he wouldn't let us. We couldn't throw the catcher, strike somebody out, right back to the pitcher. Get a guy at first base, throw it right back. I mean, it was just, and he just pounded it, never turned our back on the catcher, and I guess it just kind of stuck with me, and that's just kind of how it's been.
At this point in your career and knowing yourself as well as you do, are there times when you have to slow it down a little bit if things aren't going particularly well, or do you just continue at that pace?
I think as far as the game pace, I mean, I could keep that up. Yeah, sometimes my delivery gets a little quick. I got to slow that down. But as far as getting the ball and getting on the rubber, I don't think that really affects me too much. Definitely there's times where I need to slow my my tempo down as far as my delivery and stuff like that.
Well, Wade, we appreciate you giving us some time again. Appreciate it, and look forward to your first start for real coming up real soon. Thanks, Mike.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Nice bunt attempt here. Carnes on it. Underhand scoop. Just got him. Runners move up. How about that?
I like to hear however many pitches they want me to throw, and I'll go as long as they'll let me.
Love that.
Yeah, you have to. That's one of the things. I asked him the question because it's one of the things that Mel Stottlemyre had talked about with Miley. And at times, you like the pace. And I know the defense behind him does, and he's comfortable with that pace. But sometimes you get into situations where maybe he's getting a little bit ahead of himself and he wants to slow him down. And that's the reason why I wanted to hear his thoughts on that.
Mel definitely believes in, when he gets in a little trouble, pump the brakes, no doubt. Kansas City threatening here. This one fouled back by Orlando. 0 for 1 with the sacrifice bunt. Carnes working into the 6th. Say that 58 pitches now. It's pretty good shape.
He has thrown a lot of strikes today and been able to use all of his pitches. Still has a good fastball. 93 miles an hour on that last fastball. He'll be 92 to 94 in that range.
Kansas City got an RBI ground out in the first from Morales. Alex Gordon drove in a run in the 3rd, and an error by Seager allowed another run in the 3rd. Breaking ball. It's going to tie the game at 4-4. Orlando with an RBI, 2 down. Two outs. New ball game at 4-4. And it's Christian Colon, second baseman. Strike 1 to Colon. He's twice flied out to Martin in center field. Carnes ahead 0-2.
Mel Stottlemyre, I'm sure, is happy with what he's seen from Carnes today.
Strike 3 call. Good pitch. For Carnes' 5th strikeout. Does give up a run on a hit, an error, and a man left. Bottom of the 6th coming up. Score tied at 4. It's on break here in Arizona. Good to have them with us in the ballpark. 4-4 ball game, bottom of the 6th inning. And they'll be shuttling in a whole new batch of players like Efren Navarro. Take Aoki's place. And he looks at strike one from John Lannon. Ryan Roland-Smith rejudges here in the booth. Ground ball to the second baseman. And Navarro is retired. What else can you tell us about the evolution of baseball in Australia?
Well, there's two things. There's one, kids coming up through the ranks, and back when I signed, there was a bunch of guys coming over and playing, and they kind of dropped off a little bit. So right now MLB's gotten involved in trying to help out their programs and their academies and stuff like that, like they have in Latin America, which has been huge. But the Australian Baseball League, the ABL, has kind of picked up steam again. It was back in the mid-90s when I was a kid watching it. It started to get some steam and then just shut down. But now it's starting to pick back up, and the level of play is definitely getting better and better every year.
And Lucas way out in front.
Have you thought about coaching, managing over there at all?
I've worked with, this offseason I had a chance, myself and another big leaguer, Trent Olchin, had some time with the D-backs and the Dodgers. We went back, we ran some camps with kids and, getting involved with the younger kids and just trying to mentor them as to, what goes on from professional level, college level, things like that. So we got involved in that way, and I was still playing. I finished off the off season, was doing some broadcasting, but I got a chance to play in the WBC. So I was working with a lot of the younger guys. But it's just an untapped resource still. There's still so much there to get over there and because there is a lot of talent. There's a lot of good athletes coming out of Australia.
Would they start traveling over here? Do they have like select teams to get the kids to travel over here?
They're starting to. A lot of the times they'll send teams over to Asia, to Japan, Korea. It's a little bit closer.
Right.
But that's another thing they're trying to implement, having kids coming over and playing the top kids over here. Just recently they had a bunch of 16, 17-year-old a national team. They went to Florida for spring training and played some rookie ball teams, which is a great initiative to try and just expose them to how it really is over here.
Right.
The enthusiasm sounds like it's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. And, there's, like I said, there's a lot of good athletes over in Australia.
We've seen them over the years in other sports, that's for sure. Quick inning. Seventh inning, straight ahead, 4-4 ball game. Mariners spring training presented by Delta Airlines.
The 7th there in Peoria, and fans, remember, we want you to join the conversation. For up-to-date game information and live interaction, be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Check us out and stay connected with Root Sports. Send those pictures in to get a chance to get on the air like we are right now in our studio. It's Brad Adam, Mr. Bill Kruger. All right, we're seeing the Kansas City Royals, who won last year's World Series. So taking a look around the American League, are there some storylines that you will be following with great attention this season, Bill?
Well, I think you have to be looking closely at the American League West, but I think across the American League, you have a whole league of teams that you can't rule any of them out. I think you can rule a number of them out in the National League, but in the American League, certainly not. We're looking at a team in the Royals that everybody seems to think is going to go back to 500 every year, and they just seem to get to the playoffs in the World Series, win it all last year. A team that doesn't strike out, that hits a ton of doubles and runs, but I don't know if people think they have enough pitching. Then you have to look at the powerhouse teams, right? You look at Detroit, Boston, the Yankees. What are they doing? Boston adds Price, Kimbrel at the back end. You know, you look at Detroit. They keep spending money. Justin Upton in the outfield. Jordan Zimmerman now in the rotation. The Yankees with Aroldis Chapman once he's eligible, and Starlin Castro. You have to look at what these big spending teams are doing. I think in the American League West, it'll be interesting to see when Darvish gets back and if he can be the same guy, and if he is, and they've got the big 1-2 punch and a lot of good prospects in AAA. And I think, honestly, the Astros, is that just a blip, or is this for real?
Right.
I mean, is this Giles kid from Philadelphia, is he going to be able to close the door there? Are they going to be able to do the same things? These are interesting storylines. Can Toronto beat people with offense? Can that happen again? And I think in the National League, can the Cubs go to the World Series? Are they going to win 100 games? I mean, is that going to happen?
Everybody seems to think so.
It's the turn of the century since they won a World Series.
Yes, Cubs, Astros, what a lot of people are thinking. Go back to Peoria. And guys, you know, following the American League, I'm curious to see how Houston does. And we've talked about it now that they are kind of the hunted, the number one, that no sneaking up on anybody. I don't know, and Mike, you can speak to this better than us, if that's going to have a real impact on Houston, or are they just young and carefree and having fun and playing and trying to win games?
Yeah, I think a couple of things with them, Brad. One, I think that they are young, and I like their starting pitching. They have some talent there. But more importantly, they have some great athletes. Fine catch in center field. They have some great athletes that can do a lot of what you just saw right there. When you look at them, though, I'm wondering if maybe the strikeout numbers is going to catch up to them a little bit this year. So I think we'll have to wait and see as we look at this replay. Full extension dive.
Leon Landry.
Great catch. One thing, just across baseball, really, and more so maybe in the American League, because that's where the Mariners are, Dave, I'm wondering if the offenses are going to start to get to the point to where they're scoring more runs. I'll be curious to see how many runs that Toronto ball club can score.
That's a very good point, and it feeds right into something I was going to discuss with New York, Toronto, Baltimore, and Boston, all in that same division, all have 2 and 3, in a lot of cases 3, just super loaded back into the bullpens. Good luck scoring runs if you don't get them
right
in innings 1 through 6. Good luck.
And I think when you look at the Mariners so far this spring, they've tried to help their offense out. It looks good down here in spring training. They've done a much better job swinging the bats. They're starting to hit for some power and some extra bases. We've seen the speed from them. And in a week, we're going to find out how good that really is going to be for them. And I'll be curious where Cruz and Seager and Cano can go with their RBI totals when you have guys that are high on base guys getting on for them a little bit more often and giving them more opportunities, really.
Jerry DiPoto put together pretty much a new ball club, and probably right now his greatest concern is tightening up the bullpen. But it's interesting when you're online watching TV, MLB Network, ESPN, etc., how many guys they look at the Mariners and go, hey, they could be a factor. Last year this time was a heavy, I wouldn't say heavy, but a solid favorite. This year everybody's saying, hey, they're pretty good. There have been some changes that could put them in contention to make them a very dangerous ball club.
Well, and the other one, too, I think along those lines, as you look at their starting rotation, and something that everybody has talked about nationally is Taijuan Walker making another big jump. And if he is able to do that, then it gets to be pretty scary for him as far as the rotation goes.
Yeah, you figure Miley, he's going to be close to, if not more than 200 innings. Felix and Kuma will do their part. And if Taijuan does have a breakthrough, look out. Nice inning by Benoit, plus a fabulous catch in center field by Leon Landry. 4-4 ball game. Mariners spring training presented by Delta Airlines. And Boeing for Salute to Armed Forces Night on Saturday, April 9th versus the A's. Get there early for a special pregame ceremony. It'll honor U.S. servicemen and women, and then after the game, 10,000 fans are going to receive a collectible military coin. Get your tickets at mariners.com. The sound of Deo in the building is Deo Lee. Joins the fray here. Pinch hitting for Nelson Cruz. Little chopper's going to go foul. Scott Service telling Dejo through his interpreter, need you to hit. You got to kill left-handers. Got this team made. Coaching staff really likes his. Here's a drive left field. It's going to stay in the yard, but they like his adjustments in during the middle of an at-bat.
Right.
For a guy who's never seen any of these pitchers over here.
I think when we first saw him in spring training, he was just trying to get into the games, and then after he probably had 6-7 at-bats, I think that's when you start to see those adjustments happening, because he was seeing a lot of breaking balls and off-speed pitches. They didn't want to throw him the fastball, especially after he hit one out there on top of the pavilion, and that's something that I think everybody had noticed about him.
There's Luis Sardinas. He's got this club made. Put up big numbers, 333, 18 for 54, 2 homers, 14 runs batted in. Play anywhere in the infield and like to use him if they have to as a backup in center field.
Well, he has some speed, and we've seen him in the outfield a little bit as you look at Nuno getting loose in the pen. I like the fact that he's getting a little bit of time over at first base in this game.
2 down. So Iannetta will get his 4th plate appearance. He struck out, reached on an error, and walked. There's Vidal Nuno. John Lannon continues on. He entered the ball game in the 5th inning for starter Chris Medlin. A couple of home runs today by the Mariners. Nelson Cruz behind 0-2 in the count, leading off the 4th, hit a monster blast. Almost cleared the berm, and then Robbie Cano went one better in the 5th inning, 1 out, nobody on, and he cleared the batter's eye. Two and 1. Big gap in left center field. He'll check his swing. Raider Escanio is on deck. So Iannetta, he's aboard for the 3rd consecutive time via an error and 2 walks. For Lannon, that's his 1st walk. Check that, Brock Hebert's the hitter, Brock Hebert. Escanio's going to be next. Good hack. Next Monday in Texas, it all begins for real. Regular season firing up. Temperature in Texas will be in the mid-80s and sunny. It'll be a 1:09 Pacific time start. That one fouled off. And we will be on the air next Monday at 12:30. Don't forget, Friday, the 8th, Taijuan Walker will be the starting pitcher. The home opener. Mariners will be taking on the A's. Not a lot of. It will be on the air at 6 p.m. that night. There are some remaining tickets. See if you can get on board. Join us for the home opener. High fly ball, Wynn taking it, gone! Just about to remark that the flags are viciously blowing towards right now, and he got it up in that current, and it carried out, and the Mariners have a 6-4 lead. Brock Hebert with the 2-run homer.
A really good at-bat for Hebert. Had to foul off a number of pitches. He ended up getting a fastball up out over the plate, something that he could handle. You see, he set up inside, didn't get it there, and he lifts it over the fence in right.
Third Mariner home run today. Daniel Robertson, the hitter. 0 for 3, a double play and reached on a couple of fielders' choices. 6-4 Mariners. Robertson can run, and he puts in the gap out of the box hard. He's going to go for it. Oh, man, he's got a chance to be a dead dog, but he beat it. How about that? Daniel Robertson with the hustle double.
We have seen that from him all spring long. Brings a lot of energy when he's in the game. I think it's a smart play. Couple of outs. Take a chance. First, a good piece of hitting going the other way. He has used the entire ballpark throughout spring. Excellent turn around the bases. No hesitation at all. I think he found another gear. He saw the throw coming in.
That was a pretty good gear getting out of the box, but you're right. He did have one more to go.
Yeah.
That was good stuff. Leon Landry made that wonderful catch last inning, diving to his right. Four Mariners in the 7th. Here's the 0-2 to Leon. Breaking ball, swing and a miss, got him. And a 2-run homer by Brock Hebert. A double by Robertson. He's left stranded, but the Mariners take the lead 6-4. Mariners spring training presented by Delta Airlines.
So guys, April, that's a pretty good schedule. Nice to get out of the blocks with some good teams coming to Safeco Field.
Yes, indeed, Brad. Good stuff. As I just avoided a foul ball, the wheels in a chair were moving. The wheels of the truck go round and round. Still got it, Mike. Hit that reverse button.
No hesitation.
That's exactly right. That reverse button worked.
Now Nuno takes over. Quick first out. There's going to be Frank Schwindel. 3 Mariner home runs today. Cruz, Cano, and Brock Hebert.
Nuno will be important to the club. Charlie Furbush not going to be with the team to start the year, so he'll probably get some pretty good left-handed hitters late in ball games.
Landry going back, can't get it. Bounces off the wall. Schwindel with a 1-out double.
Mike Montgomery, the other left-hander in the bullpen.
Be interesting to see what Jerry DiPoto does as we move closer to opening day. Trade market, waiver wire. See if he's what he's looking for. Could be some guys out there. Stories today how he's targeted San Diego because they have a surplus of relievers at the back or in their bullpen. Ooh, look out. Cody Decker eating some dirt.
Well, they wanted to go inside. This one elevated.
Decker with San Diego last season. Nice job by Nuno. Took a lot off of that 1-1.
A good changeup, well located, had good movement. It's in to chase it.
Nuno likes to work at a quick pace as well. Here's the 1-1 with 1 out. And upstairs, 2-1. Nuno 1-4 with the Mariners, a 4.10 ERA last year. Nuno was in 32 games. He started 10. We had seen him back in New York in 2014. He went 2-5 with the Yankees and beat the Mariners up at Yankee Stadium. Sun has broken through. Some of the clouds have blown away, and it blows away Decker. 2 outs. To look at the sky, fierce wind that we have here today. Wind still blowing straight out. As you can see, the flags on the batter's eye. Blowing a lot of the clouds away, bringing back some sunshine that we had this morning. Strike one, Raymond Fuentes. Fuentes is 1 for 2 with a sacrifice. Nuno deals 0-1. Is that a sneaky 88?
It is. It is. Well, you saw the changeup, so they're aware of that. And then he has the breaking ball. He can also use a cutter. These are the at-bats Scott Service wants to see from him, though. A left-handed hitter up there. You have a runner in scoring position. His job is going to be to get that lefty out quickly ahead of him.
Ground ball to second. Handled by Brock Hebert. Throws him out. Good outing for Vidal Nuno. Gives up a base hit. Strands the runner in second. Mariners lead 6-4. Mariners spring training presented by Delta Airlines.
You're on hand for the tradition that is opening night at Safeco Field coming up on Friday, April 8th. The Mariners host the A's, 7:10 first pitch, so make sure to arrive early. Enjoy the pregame show. It's going to include the red carpet introductions and a first pitch. It's going to be thrown by Hall of Famer Ken Griffey Jr. Mariners opening night, presented by your local Ford dealer. Dave Sims, Mike Blowers, Ryan Rowland-Smith here, as the Mariners enjoy a 6-4 lead, bottom 8. Top of the order in Efren Navarro. So, Ryan, how did the WBC, where's Australia in that regard? What's happening in terms of trying to qualify?
Yeah, so we just recently qualified. We had a qualifying series back in Sydney about a month ago right now, and we had New Zealand, South Africa, Philippines, and us, and yeah, we qualified pretty easily, so it was good. Ready to go for next March.
Next March, okay.
Yeah.
3-0 to Navarro. That created. Let me back up. Have you seen that the excitement has built tremendously as we move further along with these World BCs?
You mean
overall in general?
I think so, and I think as we go along, I'm hoping that the kind of event turns into obviously a World Cup of soccer where everyone, especially the US team, has all their main guys. That's what I want to see, and I think it's going in that direction.
It's pretty exciting. Don Wakamatsu going to make a pitching change.
Matter of fact, the guy coming in represented Australia in the World Baseball Classic just a month ago, Peter Moylan.
Formerly of the Braves. And you said, the other thing I want to ask you about, you said you did some broadcasting. How did you like that?
Loved it. That's why I'm up here with you guys. Spring training, trying to get some reps in.
There you go.
Do you miss playing?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to miss playing, probably the rest of my life. I'm sure you dealt with the same thing. But just being around the game, coming back to spring training, for these couple games, and especially coming back to Peoria. Obviously, it's a different feel being up here as opposed to being down in the dugout. But I don't think I'll ever, really, never want to strap it on again. I'll be 50 years old trying to still play.
Left-handed throw strikes.
Exactly. But I love doing this. I had a chance to do this back home in Australia on ESPN with the Game of the Week, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm trying to pursue this a little bit more.
Good for you.
Did you get a chance to see many of your old friends since you've been back in town, or?
Yeah, this morning I got a tour of the complex from some of the guys I play with. Wade Miley, actually played with him over with Arizona, and I think the only other guy, Felix and Franklin Gutierrez, were the only two guys when I left who were playing here. But a lot of the same staff, said hi to all them, caught up and sat around and caught up in the last couple of years, so it was a lot of fun.
How do you like the way the Mariners are set up and looking right now?
I like it. I feel like, obviously Jerry DiPoto's made a ton of moves this offseason, and you always seem to see that. I remember when Jack Zarenzi came in, when he started off, a lot of moves, but I feel like there seems to be a little bit more energy this spring training, especially, and even to a philosophy. They're starting to put philosophies in place, and hopefully that goes all the way down through the minor leagues. I remember I was with the Boston Red Sox 2013 when they won that, and I remember every level. When I went over to minor league camp, you could see from rookie ball all the way up, everyone was on the same page, and they really bought into that. It wasn't a slogan, it wasn't a feel-good speech. Right. It was basically, this is how we do things, and everyone bought into that.
I can tell you this all spring, and even before spring training, from the minor league coaches and managers and staff and everybody involved, they have had long meetings almost every morning going over all of those things.
Yeah, see that? And I think, too,
from the top to the bottom, that's the way they want to see it, and I think that's a great way to go.
I think it's a great way to go, too, especially if you've got a guy who, works with one hitting coach in A-ball, then he gets to Double-A. It should be the same kind of philosophy, hitting, right, pitching, and I think if you see that throughout the system, it's really going to help once they get these guys coming up to the big leagues.
Scott Service and Tim Bogart and company, they've certainly put in a new system, that's for sure. And Scott said he had good meetings. He calls them, with his football background, chalk talk with the hitters. And I asked him about, you're going to be turning guys loose 3-0, and he said, yeah, why not? Ed Lucas, a little broken bat looper, left center field off of Peter Moylan, first and second for the Mariners here in the 8th. And the thing that was interesting in that conversation, he said he likes to listen. He asked the guys, hey, what do you think? And he said Cano would get up and talk about certain situations at 3-0, and depending on how the inning was framing up. And Cruz, he said those two guys have been very active and very, very vocal in discussing philosophies of the game amongst the team.
To me, 3-0, like as a pitcher, you've seen that more the last couple of years. Guys just hacking 3-0, and I like it. As a pitcher, on the other end of that, I'm grooving a 4-seam fastball down the middle. I don't want to walk anyone, so that's a perfect time to let it eat. And plus, too, the hitters in the at bat has seen at least 3 pitches in the at bat. So I think that's a perfect time to swing away.
And I think that if you're a good major league hitter, timing a fastball is not a problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
The one thing that you want in those situations is you don't want to see them swinging wildly and chasing outside the strike zone. But if you get that 4-seamer in the middle of the plate, do some damage with it.
Absolutely.
I never understood. I played with guys that didn't like to swing 3-0 because they felt that their swing was too big at that and trying to do too much, and they'd pop the ball up. Not me.
That's a mental thing after a while, right?
I think so. It has to be, yeah.
And like I said, on the other end, sometimes I throw a pitch, I'm like, man, if you just swung the bat right there, you would have crushed that pitch.
And every now and then they would, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You pay for it.
What are your thoughts? I was talking about it earlier in the broadcast about offensive numbers down, pitching dominating. How do you see all of that and the reasons why? Well,
the one trend I've seen, with hitters, the guy who hits 300 with a couple home runs seems to be fading away. Now it's that no one seems to care about the strikeouts anymore. It doesn't matter how many times you strike out. I feel like a guy can hit 250, 260 as long as they've got the 20, 30 home runs. It's all about it. It seems like to me, strike out a bunch of times, no big deal. So you tend to see a lot more of that, but
slashing drive left field.
And
Scagno's out.
But then again, fans, they want to see home runs. You see all these parks out obviously in Seattle the same way, bringing the fences in. Fans want to see home runs. They want to see offense. So, hopefully we can see a little bit more offense.
Yeah, but you look at the clubs, Kansas City included, you look at the San Francisco Giants, they are big on getting on base and not chasing out of the strike zone. And they put lineups together, and that's something that we've seen here with this Mariners camp. The big slugger is Cruz, and he hit 300 last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, okay. So there obviously is exceptions to that.
I think things are starting to move forward that way. I agree with everything that you said, and it's exactly the reason why I think with the numbers going down, they have to make an adjustment somewhere. And there's so many guys with big arms now, and everybody out of the bullpen throws 95, it seems like.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
I think it's the toughest time to hit right now.
100 is the new 95 now. Back when I was coming up, if you hit 95, that was wow. And now it's like now it's 95's like mid-range, especially in a bullpen. But the toughest lineups, and you touched on it too. The toughest lineups for me is just a mixture. Obviously, speed. You got the power in the middle. The Angels, I remember when I was playing with the Mariners, always had that good mixture of power in the thump in the middle, guys who could get on base, and just guys who could absolutely create havoc on the base paths.
0-2 to Daeho Lee. 3 pitches, he's gone. 2 outs. What do you remember, or what do you know about countryman here, Mr. Moylan? Spent 9 years in Atlanta.
Yeah, a pretty crazy story. Peter came over as a young guy like myself who was 18 years old, played a couple of years in rookie ball with the Minnesota Twins, got released, never went above rookie ball, and then went back, got a regular 9-to-5 job, was playing some beer leagues, dropped his arm down like you see right now with that little sidearm, and all of a sudden his velocity just went up. He was throwing in the mid-90s and resurrected his career.
How about that? Well, Ryan, we really enjoyed your time with us here. We'll see you on Wednesday. Look forward to it.
Sounds good.
And Ryan Rowland-Smith joining us here in the broadcast. 6'4" Mariners Spring Training presented by Delta Airlines. in Peoria. Dave Sims, Mike Blowers with you. As we go to the top of the ninth, Joel Peralta going to be pitching now for the Mariners to close it out. Let's talk about some of the moves made today, Mike, by the Mariners. As Jesus Montero, he was cut loose, eventually picked up by Toronto.
I don't think there was much of a surprise there. I thought he had to come into camp and really impress, and he struggled at times and didn't put up the type of numbers. So not many spots on this club, so I was not surprised.
James Paxton sent down to AAA Tacoma.
He's the one that makes you shake your head a little bit, because if you look at his struggles this spring, he hasn't been able to get his fastball down in the zone. He's been up. Yesterday, things did not go well for him at all. And typically, we talk about his arm angle and throwing downhill. Typically, if he's missing down out of the strike zone. And I just don't think that he did anything to help himself. So hopefully he can get things straightened out. I'm sure we'll see him at some point this year.
Nathan Karn, 6 innings, a 5-hit, 4-run ball, 2 earned today. So he's got that 5-hole locked up. Joel Peralta, he's made the club. Turned 40 years old a few days ago.
Yep, they're going to put him on the 25-man roster. Cishek, Benoit, you have Peralta, Tony Zick, Montgomery, and Nuno. You were talking about possibility of some trades or maybe finding somebody else. I think right now there's basically one spot left out in the bullpen. And I think if you look at the numbers, probably Don Roach has really pitched well this spring. Although I would say this, Michael Guaipe, his last 4 or 5 times out, has been dominant.
His stuff has been really good. The velocity's been outstanding.
Yeah. And Blake Parker's also pitched well, so it'll be interesting to see where that goes. And I think for Sardinius, he showed him enough in the outfield. We talked about him playing some first base today. He can clearly play shortstop, and he can run a little bit. So O'Malley ended up getting sent out, who had a great spring. I thought Sean did everything he possibly could to make the club. You mentioned Romero, same thing for him. Unfortunately for him, he had an option left, and sometimes that's what it comes down to, Dave. I have been there. We had Ryan Rowland-Smith. He's been there. It's part of it. So, unfortunately, he did everything he possibly could to make this club, but you get into those numbers game, and if they have an option, they'll use it.
2-2. Good chance he could be back up at some point, too, talking about Romero.
I agree.
Breaking ball hit on the ground to Raider Escaño. And away. Second baseman Christian Colon. Wind still blowing out. Straightaway center field. Cruz, Cano, and Hebert homered today for the Mariners. Ball one to Colon. He's 0 for 3. 2 flyouts to center and a strikeout. That's the pitch Peralta wants. Wants to get sharper with that curveball. One pitch. Hit down to third at Lucas. Nice play. Easy throw. 2 down.
And Lucas has played well this spring. He swung the bat, and we've seen him make a number of plays at third. I think the other thing that we've noticed, Dave, is they're going to have some depth. Position players and pitching, which is a good thing.
And you know you're going to need them.
Yep.
Solidly stroked right field. Robertson back, makes the catch, and that's the ball game. Good outing for Joel Peralta. Mariners win it 6-4. Good home run day here for the boys.
Yeah, I thought it was really good to see Carnes throw the ball the way that he did. He was down in the zone today. A lot of ground ball outs from him. Good curve ball. Really nice changeup today. So that was good to see for him. And outside of that, keep everybody healthy the rest of the way, Dave.
Amen, amen. That'll do it for today. We'll be back with you on Wednesday for Felix Hernandez's last spring start. For Ryan Mullins-Smith, Mike Blowers, and our entire Root Sports crew, I'm Dave Sims. So long from Peoria. Mariners win it 6-4.